What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Maverick Raven coming at you with another video. And I found an article that I thought was important. Okay, and I think it's important because some of you do not understand why certain things are so objectionable to me. Um, hmm. About this trial specifically, obviously. Now, a lot of things have happened, and it's not just in this trial. The fact that there's other trials that are happening and some that haven't even happened yet, it's ridiculous. But the timing of all these trials, the fact that he has to be in court every day, which is that's not normal, because if you need to do something else, you can ask for a continuance, or you can just appoint your attorney to handle it. Not. I mean, it's just the guy wanted to see his kid's graduation. He was denied. Couldn't spend the time with Melania on her birthday because he couldn't go out of state. And yeah, he's rich enough to have her flown over there. But the reality is, why should he have to do that? Now, some of you might hear this and say, well, what's the big deal? So what that they did this? And it goes back to chain of custody, which I've explained before. And chain of custody is basically a legal thing. Basically, all it says is who had what at what time, and then who did it go to, and blah blah, and then how many times, how much time was that piece of evidence with that person or with that department, whatever, as an example. So let's say I go to a crime scene and I'm the detective. I'm the detective, whatever, and I find something that the maybe patrol officers missed. I have to find out if that something was there when the patrol officers showed up and they just missed it, or if that's something that patrol officers put there. You know what I'm saying? So that type of thing then turns into, okay, now I can pound this as evidence, blah blah. And then if you get evidence in, then you now have to say, okay, this is so and so, and I'm declaring that this has been straight, and the chain of custody is now falling on me, except now I'm giving it to the department. So this was in my possession, now it's going to go to the department for safekeeping or whatever. Just that's like a real quick rundown on chain of custody. But see, Alvin Bragg's office in Manhattan deleted phone call records between Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels, a lawyer, and then brought that evidence into the hearing. This is wild, y'all. We're going to get into this. Before we do, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. You guys keep the lights on in this place, believe it or not, because at this point, this is a labor of love, and I do love you guys. So please make sure to join the flock. The air's for everyone, y'all. Trump attorney asked about roughly 3 pages worth of records that the attorney claimed Mr. Bragg's office had deleted. A paralegal from Manhattan Attorney General Alvin Bragg's office testified on Friday during former President Donald Trump's hush money trial that some phone call records between Michael Cohen and Stephanie Clifford, aka Stormy Daniels' lawyer, were deleted, raising questions about evidentiary integrity. In a bid to challenge some of the evidence being put forward in President Trump's business record falsification trial in Manhattan, Trump attorney Emil Bove asked paralegal Jaden Jarmel Schneider in court on May 10th about roughly 3 pages worth of records that the attorney claimed Mr. Bragg's office had deleted. What purpose do they have for that deletion? Because you need to be able to justify everything. Is it because of a brevity issue? Is that what it is? A brevity issue? That's not for you to make that determination. You can't just alter evidence like that. Mr. Jarmel Schneider confirmed some deletions. He acknowledged that some phone call records from 2018 between Mr. Cohen and Keith Davidson, Ms. Clifford's lawyer, had been deleted, along with some records of conversations between Ms. Clifford's manager, Gina Rodriguez, and then National Enquirer editor Dylan Howard about Ms. Clifford's claim that she had an affair with President Trump. Oof. Oof. Sorry, guys. That was bothering my neck. It was killing me. The Trump attorney alleged that the deletions were significant, prompting Mr. Jarmel Schneider to dispute that characterization, though he acknowledged that some of the records had indeed been deleted. So 3 pages is not significant, I guess, to somebody that's trying to railroad Trump. That's crazy. This is part of the reason why. Because you see, on those 3 pages, you have to wonder if they're doing that with this, right? This evidence that they're introducing, then why on earth would the state alter the evidence, and what else can they do? What else have they altered, if anything? They're capable of doing it once. Who's not to say? Who's to say that they're not capable of doing it twice, 3 times, 4 times, etc.? You get it. Prosecutors have submitted the phone call records into evidence in a bid to bolster the case that the alleged affair, which President Trump has denied took place, and that the former president falsified business records to conceal payments allegedly made to Ms. Clifford to stay silent. In other words, extortion. Because that's what she did. She wanted more money. More money. Isn't that almost always what it's about? More money. President Trump has denied any wrongdoings and maintains the case as is a politically motivated bid to undermine his 2024 presidential campaign. The fact that prosecutors submitted the call records into evidence but didn't tell the Trump defense team that some of them had been deleted raises questions about the integrity of the proceedings, according to Trump attorneys and others. Insanity. How on earth is this not a felony committed by Bragg and his minions? It sure would be if Team Trump did it, the former president's eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., said in a post on X. He ain't lying. He's right. He's right. Mr. Trump Jr. was presumably referring to the fact that evidence tampering is a Class E felony in the state of New York. I don't know what that means. See, here in Florida, we only have it by number: first degree, second degree, third degree, etc. Mr. Bragg's office did not respond to a request for comment on the deleted records. The development comes at the tail end of an intense week that saw President Trump subjected to gag order sanctions, 2 failed attempts by the defense team to have a mistrial declared, and Ms. Clifford taking the stand. Mr. Cohen is expected to take a stand next week. And when he does, just remember that I said it. It's going to be a circus because that guy is in jail for integrity issues. So if he's got integrity issues, why would you believe him? And you're going to treat him like he's your star witness or something? This is insanity. It really is. After 4 weeks in court, prosecutors signaled that the first ever criminal trial of a former U.S. president would be coming to an end. Jurors will soon have to decide whether prosecutors have proved beyond a reasonable doubt that President Trump was involved in falsifying business records as part of a scheme to influence the 2016 election. President Trump was charged by Mr. Bragg with 34 counts of falsifying business records. Typically, this is a misdemeanor charge, but in this case, prosecutors alleged the records were falsified to cover up a scheme to influence the 2016 election and therefore amounts to a felony. See what I'm saying? It's such a coincidence that they managed to form it from a misdemeanor into a felony. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is not like police officer trickery, okay? This at this level is completing the hands of the DA. Police officers aren't doing this, Before you get on us, we're not doing this. Don't get me wrong. Police officers have a lot of wrong, a lot of bad to answer for. But this right here is not the police's fault. Jurors were, I'm sorry. Oh, and one other thing. I do want to say one other thing because I've been seeing this a lot. Oh man, sorry man, my neck is just killing me. A lot of people have been saying, "Oh, he's got 91 indictments here. He's got, they think charges, whatever. The 91 indictments here and 34 counts here and this and that. Obviously, he's guilty of something." That's not the way this country works. You're not obviously guilty of anything until it's proven beyond the reasonable doubt in a court of law. It's not 51%. It's more like 99.9999, .9999999% sure that 12 people or 6 people, depending, are sure that you did it. And then that's the other thing. How bad is the state gonna be able to get this judge to work the oh god, what is it called? Well, when it's explained, oh, I forget now. I forget. But when it's explained at the end of the trial what it is, what law it is that he's being accused of breaking, and what elements have to be proven, and this and that, blah blah. Now you also have to the defense team has to fight against the prosecutors, because the prosecutors and the defense team, obviously, they're going to want the wording to the jurors to be complementary to their side. But this has been a circus. It's been shown, in my opinion, anyways, I don't know how anybody else feels, but in my opinion, it's been shown that there has been a lot of bias here, a lot of preferential treatment towards the state, which, that happens quite a bit, because they probably have seen each other for decades now at this point, the judge and the DA. And the DA probably knows how to work the judge, and what he likes and what he doesn't like, and what he'll tolerate and what he won't tolerate. You know what I'm saying? How far you can bend the rules. But the problem is that this railroading that's happening right now, of a former president, is not over yet, folks. Because when the state gets down to it and they start reading, okay, this is what I want for jury instructions. When they enter that phase and they get the jury instructions and it's complementary to the state, now that's another, and it's not a grain of sand at that point. It's like a sack of sand against Donald Trump and how unfair this has been, And I know I'm being long-winded, but this is important to understand. This roller coaster is not over yet, and it's only getting worse. A number of legal experts have challenged the way Mr. Bragg elevated the misdemeanor into a felony. This includes retired Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz, who argued that Mr. Bragg was operating on an invalid legal premise because he invoked federal statutes over which New York has no jurisdiction. By the way, Alan Dershowitz is a liberal. He's a leftist. Not as leftist, not as loony as your typical leftist when I say the word leftist, but he's a little bit more. I don't think he's necessarily a classical liberal. I think he's more left-leaning than that. So whatever is between a leftist and a classical liberal, I guess he's in that camp. He's just he's just left enough for me not to consider him a classical liberal, not in that sense. But he does value the Constitution, and you gotta respect him for that. But the thing is that, unfortunately, the left doesn't respect the Constitution. A lot of them think it's an outdated piece of paper, and it's, they don't see the genius in it. They just don't. And the genius in it is, like I keep telling you guys, it's Blackstone. I think it's Blackstone. Blackstone's ratio. Basically, you want, if it takes freeing 10 guilty people so that you also free one innocent man, that's the way to go. Because we'd rather 10 guilty people go free than one innocent person go to prison. That's the way it should be. And Alan Dershowitz is a liberal or leftist or whatever you want to say, but the point is, he's not conservative. He's left of center, and he's a brain with legs and arms, because the man, he knows his stuff front, forward. I mean, I'm saying up, down, left, right, front, back, all that. He knows it like nothing. Like, he hasn't lost anything. He's not seen out yet. You know what I'm saying? And he's got so many years of experience, and he's been on this, man. He's been on it because he has seen the legal shenanigans that have been happening here. Mr. Dershowitz also recently said that he believes that Mr. Bragg's office has violated voters' rights with the Trump prosecution, with the legal scholar arguing that the case amounts to a criminal conspiracy to influence elections. Yeah. Prosecuting attorney Joshua Steinglass said Friday that prosecutors plan to call just 2 more witnesses, and that it's entirely possible that the prosecution will rest its case at the end of next week. Mr. Cohen, who is set to testify next week, made the original claims that led to the case. Specifically, the allegation of falsified business records pertains to 11 checks Mr. Cohen received and their corresponding invoices and vouchers. They are going to embarrass the shit out of Michael Cohen on the stand, because Michael Cohen is an attorney, but doesn't mean he knows how to testify. There's a big difference between the two sides of the bench. You know what I mean? Huge difference. Now, you would think that because he's a former attorney, he would have a little bit of experience, but I doubt he was a trial lawyer. I really doubt it. I doubt it. He probably was nothing but a glorified, record manager, a records manager or something like that. The defense team says that Mr. Cohen was paid attorney's fees, while prosecutors allege that the legal expense categorization of the payments was fraudulent in order to cover up that they were meant to buy Miss Clifford's silence about the alleged affair. Miss Clifford testified over the course of 2 days, with attorneys and the judge expressing some frustration that she frequently responded to questions with commentary that did not directly answer the question. Defense attorneys moved for a mistrial, arguing that her statements were extremely prejudicial and would improperly influence the jury. The judge denied that motion. What a surprise. Look, a lot of bad things have been going on in this trial, and that's just one of them. This should have never been a felony. This should have never been brought to trial. This has been, there should have never been a gag order. I mean, there are so many things here. But you guys unpack this. Don't just take my word for it, okay? Because for all you know, I'm a mainstream media shill. I'm not, just for the record. But for all you know, that's all I am. So do your own independent research. Don't use Google, by the way, because Google is leftist as hell, and it will show you prejudicial results. If you want to see something a little bit more conservative, and obviously this is on my recommendation, so obviously it's going to be a little bit more conservative, go to Free Spoke. Try that, But that's the video, you guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I always try to read all of them, and I always try to respond. Much love to you guys. Stay safe and stay based.